Good evening, everyone. It's Aaron Woodward here for AddictedOTR.com. I'm joined today by a very special guest, Mr. Tim Wilde. So, first of all, Tim, I just want to say congratulations on becoming a father.
Thanks,
Um,
mate.
how is fatherhood treating you at the minute?
It's tiring, hard work. Just it's two weeks and a couple of days into it, and yeah, I think it's for anyone who else has gone through it. It's a massive life changing experience, but well worth it. It's very hard work, very tiring. So we're just kind of adjusting, me and the wife, getting used to it. So, but yeah, it's amazing,
Is it
amazing.
is it more hard work than being a fighter?
Oh yeah, I did chuck a tweet on Twitter the other week saying I look forward to my next fight because it's going to feel easy compared to being a dad. And I mean it. It's you do really underestimate kind of what's involved with, especially if you're going to be a hands-on dad and you're going to muck in and help out your wife like men should. But yeah, it's hard work. But yeah,
Uh,
it's like I say, well worth it, mate.
no, congratulations anyway. I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
Um, right, we'll wind the clock back a little bit before we talk about your last fight, Cage Warriors 78. I want to go back to the performance against Martin Delaney. I was actually cage side at that fight.
Okay.
Um, you're the first person that's ever stopped Martin Delaney. How was that for yourself? Can you describe that fight a little bit and how you felt going into that fight?
Yeah. Well, I'd had a kind of perfect fight camp, if you like. No injuries, no distractions. I'd come into the year with some, certain goals and set some targets and stuff, and come into the start of 2016 with some real, kind of added motivation with my wife being pregnant, but kind of not really sunk in because it was early days. But yeah, yeah, as I say, the prep went perfect. I wasn't expecting an early finish. I was expecting a real kind of 3 round war because, as you say, he'd never been stopped. A big guy, big kind of wrestling, tough, grinding judo guy. So yeah, but going into the fight, I felt really loose, really sharp, really focused, and I mean, if you use cage side, you probably agree. I was just really in the zone, and yeah, I just saw the opening and I just took it, and I think I knew within 30 seconds that I was going to finish him. It's so surreal how you kind of know, but I could just see he was very flinchy in my striking. He was, and I thought you're leaving yourself open. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to catch you. And I think the first shot that landed, I'd have to watch it up. I think it was like a Superman jab and then a left hook. It landed right on the button and caught him and dropped him. He managed to get back up, and I just knew it was a matter of time then. So it was, until probably my last fight, it was probably the biggest win. Well, it was certainly the biggest win of my career, and I saw someone told me on Facebook his coach, I can't remember his name, but he put us like a status on Facebook saying no excuses. Martin Delaney's a stud. He's the hardest working guy in our gym, and he had a perfect camp. Kind of like Tim Wilde's a beast, and hats off, well done. So that was really nice as well. I forgot the coach's name, but yeah, I know he's a well respected coach in the MMA world.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah, it was just amazing.
yeah, so you're talking about flinching and things like that, and I think the old flinching kind of comes back to your striking style because it's very versatile. I don't think there's anybody, not many people worldwide anyway. I don't think there's actually anyone in the UK who has kind of the same striking techniques as you do. So I think it's very hard to read what you're doing, and I think maybe that's why Martin was flinching a little bit because he didn't really know what to expect, and I think that was kind of his downfall, and that's
Yeah,
obviously how you end up getting the win. So obviously we're
yeah,
going back to July. It was quite a disappointing performance on your side. Everyone kind of expected you to beat Scott Clist. Um, Going into that fight in your training camp, how was the training camp? Was there any problems in that before the fight?
Yeah, but firstly, I do just want to say, and I have said this in interviews and stuff, and I've even said it to Scott. I don't want to make excuses. He won, as everyone saw, he won. He won fair and square. So I will tell you what went on, but don't see it as excuses because I'm not that guy who's going to sit here and say it was this reason, this was why I lost, and blah blah blah. So, but yeah, going into the fight camp, I had a terrible camp, lots of injuries, kind of financially I was struggling and I was having to work. So it's the first fight camp where I've had to kind of go back to work because normally for 6 to 8 weeks I don't work. I train 2-3 times a day. I commit fully to the fight, but due to the baby and that had kind of, the missus started to show and that had kind of started to sink in now. Um, I- we decided we kind of got some savings. We decided we'd moved house and we decided to do the house up. So we was going to put a new kitchen in and rewire it, etc. So yeah, I took that on board. Coming off of that Delaney fight, I felt invincible, as you can imagine, at getting the result the way I did, and I was like, yeah, don't worry, babe. We can take on. I'll do the house and I'll train for this fight, and we'll get money and don't worry about the baby. I just kind of took it all. Thinking basically took too much on. So going through the fight camp, I should have recognised, but I got a lot of injuries because I wasn't training enough. I wasn't eating very clean because I didn't have a kitchen. So I had a very difficult weight cut. And another thing leading into the fight, I had the same opinion as yourself, and I think a lot of people would have had the same opinion, without trying to sound too modest, that I was going to come out on top in that fight. I felt like I was faster than him. I was technically better, hit harder. I just felt like I was the better fighter, and I was surprised he took the fight. But going in, I started well, and I faded very quickly. You could see if you was cage side, I think you'd agree yourself. I wasn't the same fighter. I wasn't focused. My guard was all over the place. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't get into a rhythm. I felt weak. I mean, it was red hot in the room as well. It was not a very nice venue to fight at. I mean, but again, all these things are just factors. At the end of the day, he still put his fist on my jaw and rocked me. It kind of got a TKO stoppage. I don't feel like I was knocked out cold, but he got the doctor the referee stoppage, and it was a fair stoppage because I was very rocked and didn't know what was going on. So, but yeah, I think all little things kind of accumulated into me losing and not looking myself and everybody. I mean, my dad's mom, she's never been to watch me fight, but she always watches them afterwards on telly. I remember a couple of weeks after the fight, going out for a meal with them all, and she said to me, I can't. You didn't look yourself in that fight, did you? I mean, she's like 70 years old. She doesn't know anything about MMA. She was like, you didn't look your usual self in that fight, Tim. And I was like, oh. That just kind of confirmed it for me that I really wasn't myself. But hats off to Scott Clist, man. He's got some heavy hands and he's doing marvelous things. And I got a lot of respect to him, and I thanked him. In my pre-interviews in my last fight, I thanked him a lot because it was a kick up the arse I needed because. You kind of start to think you're indestructible. So he knocked me down a peg, and I'm grateful for it. So yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, legacies aren't built on records anyway, so it's all a learning curve at the end of the day. I don't want to say like I'm being biased, but I kind of completely agree with everything you're saying. I just don't think it was the same Tim Wilde we've seen before. I think most people kind of knew there must have been something going on in the background, and obviously you've explained it very well without kind of sounding you're making excuses. But they are obviously very valid reasons. So moving on from that, when did you get the call to actually fight Michael Lebout?
Well, after the Scott Clist fight, I literally went on holiday the next day with my wife, who, as I say, is heavily pregnant. Well, she was due to drop in 10 weeks, and we went to Wales. And it was a nice, it was a nice break, but it was a bit, on a downer because of losing. It's hard. It's hard. It's very difficult. Although it's work, it's very difficult to kind of block it out because I'm so passionate about it. I'm so um, what's the word, like competitive. I don't, losing is not an option for me. But so we went away anyway, and most of the holiday I kind of watching the fight back on Fight Pass and sulking and thinking what went wrong. But it was nice because it gave me time to assess, write down where I went wrong, and I just thought, you know what, I know what I've done wrong, and I can put this right. I'm not, because you start to date yourself when things like that happen. You lose that way, but I thought no, and I found my coach John Roberts, UTC. I says, look, I need another fight. Get me another fight right away, straight away. I don't know messing about. I says, get me a fight, and he got straight on the phone to Ian Dean, and and got back to us and offered us Lebout, and I hadn't even looked at him, didn't know who he was. I hadn't actually didn't realise who. Well, John said my coach that he was an ex-UFC fighter, but I hadn't seen him fight on the UFC, and I just said, yeah, we'll take it. I didn't look at it. I didn't care who it was. It could have been anyone, Fishgold. It could have been anyone. I'd have said yeah, and yeah, and that was it really. And got back off holiday, and I had 7 weeks to train, and the first 3 of them, I couldn't spar, obviously because of the concussion. But yeah, just kind of put it right, got my mind right, and that was the story she wrote, and yeah, so.
But yeah, I mean, Michael Lebout, even though he was riding a 2-fight win streak, losing streak, sorry, they were against really good fighters. They were against a former champion as well, Stephen Ray at USC, and then he actually fought Jesse Ayari, who's actually recently just won his debut at the UFC.
Yeah.
So getting in there, and obviously you're saying about you didn't know much about the guy and things like that, and I think a lot of fighters might be even you're fighting someone 8 weeks just after you've been TKO'd or you've been knocked out. A lot of fighters actually might have been a little bit reluctant, even the fact that he's a former UFC fighter, because a lot of fighters might turn around and think, oh, this guy's a former UFC fighter. I feel like I need to maybe take a step back in competition. But you, even though you just lost to Scott, no disrespect to Scott, but you actually took a step up in competition on really short notice as well. And when you went into the fight, that first round, it was a little bit of a stalemate for the first 2 minutes, and then he got the takedown, and it seemed a little bit like deja vu again. We thought, oh, is it going to be another Scott Cliff kind of fight? So after that first round had ended, what was you saying to yourself in your head? Did you know you'd lost that round?
Yeah. So, yeah, the first round, there's no other way to say it other than I felt a little scared. So there's no point lying. I genuinely felt a little scared. I thought, you can't, cause like, I'm not invincible. I am capable of being knocked out. That was my first time that it happened, and the nerves got the better of me. And as much as I'd psyched myself up in the change rooms and got myself ready, hyped up and stuff, you step in there, the door's shut, and he did balloon up as well. He looked a big lad,
He was very big for his weight. It seemed very, very big for his weight.
So all these things start running through your head, but yeah, because he did fight welterweight, didn't he? That Jesse Ayari, that was a welterweight, and I know he fought in the UFC at welterweight. So after researching him afterwards, but yeah, he was a big, strong guy. And that first round, I was very tentative, very nervous. I wasn't myself, and yeah, I just couldn't get my rhythm, couldn't get going.
Yeah, you didn't. I think the problem was you couldn't really find your range in the first round. I think that was a difficult thing. I think the turning point was in the second round when you got the takedown. I think as soon as you got the takedown, you guys stood back up. That was it. We saw a completely difference in Wilde after that. And that second round was absolutely stunning.
The first round, like I say, he took me down. He felt very, very strong as well. And when I went back to the corner, I didn't feel gassed, but I went back to the corner. I was like, look, he's really strong. And John, I can't actually remember what my corner said to me, but whatever they said, it kind of lit a fire, I was like, right, I need to sort this out now. Went back out there, like you say, still, I was a little bit slow still in the start of the second round. But yeah, once I kind of clinched up with him, it felt like he was half as strong as what he was. And I thought, oh, I can deal with this a bit easier. And then some of the exchanges, scrambles, I was getting the better of, and I thought, oh, this isn't so bad. And then I think it was about halfway, like you say, through the second round, I found my range and I got my confidence, and I was like, you know what, Tim, come on, man, you've got this. And I started kind of having my way then. Don't get me wrong, I'm chuffed. I got the win over a very kind of highly tated guy, but I still feel that that's not myself. I still think I was much better in the Delaney fight and more focused with my striking more so than any of the other fights I've had this year. But once I've got my range, I know once I start landing my hands on people, it changes the fight. It really does change the fight. I hit hard for a lightweight. You know, my coach has said that. He's trained with multiple world Muay Thai fighters, everything. He says you hit harder than most. The only guy he says I don't hit harder than was the K1 champion who was in heavyweight, which was Kirk Walker from
Yeah.
a Thai boxer. So he says you have got really heavy hands, and I know once I start putting them on people with 4-ounce gloves on, it changes the fight. So it doesn't matter how tough you think you are, or how resilient or even stupid. Like once you start getting hit in the face with 4-ounce gloves, it does change. You're scared to kind of come in and rush in and take down. You're worried about getting countered. You worry about coming forward full stop. It does change the whole game, you know. So just once come back at the end of the second round, I've got a whole new lease of life. And the third round, again, he was making it a kind of an ugly fight. You know, he didn't want to strike with me. He was kind of just grabbing onto me, but I was getting the better of the scrambles. I was, kind of, I was quite pleased with my jiu-jitsu and ground game. I've been working with Neil Simpkins at Gracie Barra Warsaw. Just overall good fight, a good win against a good guy, and I just can't wait to get back in there. So.
I mean, with Michael Lebout as well, in that second round, his mouthpiece seemed to be hanging out quite a lot. Could you tell there was something wrong, judging by his body language? Could you kind of make out what you thought actually was wrong with him?
When I didn't realise during the fight, just kind of how hurt he was at some points. I think watching it back and studying it, there was a couple of points where if I'd have given it another 10%, I could have perhaps got the finish, which would have been amazing because he's such a tough guy and he's not been finished in UFC and stuff. To get the finish over him would have been amazing. But yeah, I saw that. I did clock that. And especially the end of the third round, I think I threw a front kick and kicked his gum shield out of his mouth. And I kind of get annoyed at myself because I'm too nice sometimes because I let him pick it up and the ref hadn't jumped in and stopped it. So I should have he literally turned to look at where his gum shield is. I should have just put it on him. But I don't know, I didn't. I let him pick it up and we carried on. But I think I've seen him do it in previous fights when I studied him. So I don't know if it's just some people gag, don't they, with the gum shields, whether it's a bit of a thing he's got going on or he did look gassed, so it might have just been now. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, so after the fight, I mean, what is Tim looking at now? When are you looking to get back in the cage again? Because obviously your wife gave birth to Quinlan the week after. Are you hoping to kind of maybe spend a little time with some family? Are you ready to get back in the cage again as soon as possible?
Yeah. Well, my head's like a roller coaster at the minute. I think it's mostly due to sleep deprivation, but I'm struggling to make a decision. I kind of come to a decision this weekend that I'm not actually going to make a decision until I've got this next 4 weeks out of the way. So for this week, this month, because I'm an electrician by trade, I'm going to go and do a bit of work, get some money in. The last 2 weeks I've been off work. I've trained a very little bit just to tick over, but nothing compared to what I do normally. And I've literally just non-stop spent the time with the baby and the wife, and it's been amazing. It's been great. I don't know. Is the honest answer with you. I would love if the right fight was kind of offered to me. I would potentially look at taking a fight December. It'd have to be probably second week in December or after. Again, I'm contracted to Cage Warriors, as you know, so a lot of it depends on when they put shows on, who they offer me. I think ideally, if I didn't get a big fight December, it'd be early next year, February. I'm not going to get fat over Christmas and not able to fight. I could take a fight New Year's Eve if I needed to, or second week in January. I kind of always keep myself. I didn't. This has only changed over the last year, but I always keep myself within weight to make weight within a week's notice and fit. I've always been complimented by my coaches and training partners that I keep like a high level of fitness. So I've been sparring with the lads who've got fights coming up and still kind of beasting them, even though I've not been training. So yeah, I'm Ian Dean. I like Ian. I get on really well with him. We're quite close. He knows the crack. If the right fight's offered to me, I'll jump on it. But again, I've got a massive meeting tomorrow with a potential big sponsor. So if that comes off, it may mean that I don't need to go back to work. So I'll definitely be looking to fight the end of the year then. So there's a lot of things up in the air at the minute, but as soon as I know, it'll be kind of put on my social media and everyone will be made aware.
So you're on a bit, and I think I know what you're going to say. You're on a bit the right fight. What is the right fight for Tim? What do you want, Tim? Who do you want next? Who would you like? Because I know you put a
I
I know you put a social media poll out, but about Chris Fishgold, Mansour Bernal, and Nicolas Backstrom. But is there anyone else that you'd like to throw in that mix as well? Because I know last year you had an interview with another media outlet, and there was some idea that you actually wanted Pimlet as well. But are you happy? But obviously, I think have you fought at featherweight before?
No, I haven't.
No.
I haven't fought at featherweight. I
But
haven't fought at featherweight, but I do. I can make featherweight. Again, probably for the right fight, but I think I can definitely make featherweight. Yeah, and Pimbley, Pimblett's a character, and actually having met him, he's a really nice guy. I got a lot of time for him. I did call him out essentially. It didn't mean to come across in a bad way if it did, but yeah, I just, I know I want to fight the best in the country, and that's what it is now. I know I need to beat these big names to get me where I want to get. So, it, like the end of the day, who doesn't want the world title? I would love the opportunity to fight Chris Fishgold. Whether that comes off or not, I don't know. I think a lot of that might depend on how Scott Cliss gets on October 15th. And whether there's shows on certain dates, and I say there's a lot of things up in the air. But if a title fight didn't come off and Ian and Cage Warriors could offer me another ex UFC guy or big name, I would definitely consider fighting December. But yeah, I mean, just these top 10 guys, like there's so much hype around. The lightweight scene in the UK, but Sol Rogers and Fishgold and
got Brendan
you
Lone
know,
in as well.
but
He
yeah,
kind of he kind of fluctuates from feather and light, doesn't he? As well.
yeah,
Going back to Paddy as well. I
yeah,
mean, Paddy's really
properly, yeah,
really young. Paddy's really really young, and I think his body hasn't fully developed yet. And I'm just saying it from my point of view. I think in the future, I think he'll come straight back to lightweight. I think he'll go
yeah,
to lightweight and stay there. Because I don't think he'll be a featherweight forever. Because I think his body, if you look at his body, you can still tell he's not fully developed yet. And I think he will end up coming out as a lightweight. Whether
yeah,
that's when he ends up in the UFC or anything like that, we're not sure. But I think in general, I think the problem is nowadays the UK MMA scene, the lightweight, it's got such a heavy division, and so does the featherweight division as well. And I think,
yeah,
and what it seems to be at the minute, I don't want to get myself in trouble or anything, but people just seem to be, the top guys seem to be kind of running away from each other and not facing each other. Do you know what I
I
mean?
could, yeah, mate. I know what you're saying, but I can assure you that is not me. You can ask Ian Dean, my coach. I will fight any of them. I would fight Paddy. I would fight Sol. I would fight Chris. And Ian knows this, and I think that's one of the things he loves about me. I do and will fight anyone. I've never turned down a fight against anyone. But yeah, I would agree with you there. A lot of them, I don't know whether it's protecting records or what, but yeah, they do, they're trying to get that Paddy and Brendan fight going, aren't they? And they're trying to get Chris and Sol going, and it's just all the politics in it with different kind, all signed to different promotions.
Yeah,
It
because I
does my
know,
head in a
yeah.
bit because I just want to see them fight, and I just want to fight it myself. Why should there be restrictions? But like you say, it's all politics, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah, no, there was a bit of something going on Twitter today as well about Brendan Lone and Paddy Pimlet. I think Brendan can only fight Paddy if Brendan signs a multi-fight contract with Cage Warriors, but Brendan doesn't want to fight a multi-fight contract with Cage Warriors because I think
yeah,
he's hanging about with Tanko. Um, So we're not too sure yet whether that's going to happen or not. But the Chris Fishgold fight as well, I think for me personally, like you just said, depending what happens with Scott Clist, Cage Warrior 17 arm, if Scott loses, I think you're right up there. You're right up there in the
Yeah,
pecking order.
I've had that said to me as well. So I do think that. Yeah, if he wins, I think he's entitled. You know, he's more worthy of the shot than me, just due to him beating me. But yeah, it's just gonna kind of have to suck it and see. So for the next couple of weeks, there's just really not gonna kind of anything come about from Cage Warriors. I know that, so I'm just kind of ticking over, training, keeping myself relatively fit, keeping my weight down, and just working, like you say, spending time with the family. But yeah, I mean, going back to the Paddy thing, he did. You know, after having all our banter back and forth on Twitter and stuff, oh, it's probably a year. I think I was actually trying to set it up instead of Delaney. We were trying to get the fight on FCC, but yeah, it never come off because he didn't want to move up to lightweight or whatever. But he did promise me, and I've got the tweet screenshot still. Said if I move up to lightweight, you'll be the first fight. So that
Definitely.
might come off one day. I think it'd be a good fight. You know, a classic kind of. I mean, don't get me wrong, he TKO'd his last guy, but it'd be a classic striker versus grappler, wouldn't it? And that's the same as if it was me and Fishgold. There's not, there's cut the crap. Everyone knows who's looking to do what. I'm going to look to strike him. He's going to look to take me down and sub me out like he's done with all his guys. So it they make for styles make fights, don't they? And they make for interesting fights.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think Chris would obviously want to fight anyone on your level, I would say personally, because he's kind of used to fighting maybe not as rangy guys, and you've got a lot of range. And obviously, Fish he likes to get straight in there. He likes to take you
Yeah.
down. But I think you've kind of got the skill set to keep him back. Do you know what I mean? To keep him pushed back. No
Yeah.
disrespect to Chris. I think he's an absolutely amazing fighter. I
Oh
really
mate,
is.
he's just
He's really
stud, and again meeting him at the other shows, I really get on with him. Like it's a shame he's got the belt. I'd love to get up and train with them guys. But maybe that'll be something that happens in the future. But they're very very talented guys. But like I do think I would cause problems for him. I don't think it'd be as easy as he's made kind of his last 4 or 5 fights look. And thanks for agreeing. It's nice compliments. So.
You're all right. No, I totally agree with it anyway. But going back as well to the social media, Paulie, I think the Backstrom fight as well. I think because I actually commented saying I think it should be Backstrom because I think that would actually be the best fight out of all of them. Um,
Yeah.
in case, let's say Scott wins and then you'll have to fight obviously somebody else and to get another UFC name on your record as well. I think that will boost you up a little bit more as well. Because I think he's quite tall as well. He's quite rangy as well.
Yeah.
He likes you striking things like that. So I think that's another fight as well. If you can't get the Chris Fishgold one, I think that's the fight to make. Whether
Yeah.
whether the team at Cage Warriors ends up making that, we're not sure. But you've not heard anything yet, no.
No, no. I mean, it's all in talks, but I can't even like kind of tease you with anything because there really isn't kind of anything even verbally kind of agreed. I think on that status, Ian Dean commented and put something like he tagged Backstrom's coach, and I think Backstrom's coach put something like, yeah, when does he want the fight and does he fight at 145? So I've just kind of left it. I wouldn't probably take the fight against Backstrom at 145. But I know he has fought at lightweight as well in the past. So, I mean, Ian Dean is a busy man. He could be talking to any of these guys. He has teased me with, there's lots of options at lightweight. Don't worry, kind of winky face. So, I'm just like, it's all kind of just up in the air at the minute. But Ian knows he can send any name to me and I'll take it. Like, he knows that. So, yeah, I'm just hoping to get offered a nice exciting fight. I'm hoping this big sponsor comes off tomorrow and I don't have to work and I can get back in there December. Ian's promised me that there will be another show kind of after October the 15th before the year's out, at least one show. So we shall see. We shall see.
Fantastic. Right, so wrapping up now, Tim, is there anybody you'd like to thank, any sponsors or anything like that?
Yeah, if that's cool. So again, probably the biggest kind of helping out in this fight camp was Good Fit Nutrition. He's a kind of nutritionist and supplement sponsor. It really, really worked with me a lot. I say he's worked with me a lot with all my fights, but with the Cliff fight, he tried to work with me, but I just wasn't I wasn't listening. You know, I didn't pay attention. It showed in the fight. I had a bad cut and I gassed, but I really kind of whipped me into shape this fight, and you know, he's changed my whole mindset about food and stuff. So he's worth his weight in gold. You know, Good Fit Nutrition, big shout out to them. My physio as well looks after me, keeps me injury free. Andy Caldwell at Active Therapy down in Penkridge. Yeah, Booster, they supply me with my gear. They've always looked after me. And Wayne Kirk, the Fourth Dimension. They're my kind of three main sponsors. There's a lot of little sponsors. They all kind of know who they am. Like Dave Brace Tattoo, Eden Hot Yoga. They all help me out and kind of they're all friends with me and like look to helping me achieve my dream. And you know, I'm forever grateful for them. And then just a big shout out to my team and coaches, UTC staffs, Canuck, and also Neil Simpkins, BJJ, Gracie Baha Warsaw. They're all kind of working with me to achieve my dream, get me to where I belong. So big shout out to them. Thank you.
No problem. Right, Tim, I really appreciate your time and all the best in the future as well with your child. And I wish you and your wife and your child the healthiest of lives.
Thank you.
No
Awesome,
problem.
mate. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Have a good one, Tim. Thank you.